Hi, folks. This is Pam Demore. We're having a few little technical glitches. So if you're seeing me on a small screen, it's because something's weird going on with my internet here. So I apologize, but hopefully it'll be clear enough that you'll be able to see. So over the weekend, I worked on a pattern that I've been working on for over a year, and this is it. It's the Christine Coach. So I just finished this sample, and every time I make something, I teach myself something new. So let me just tell you a little bit about the bag. It's not out yet, this pattern, but I really love this. I've been using this bag now for probably almost a year. I've been using it quite a while. It's got bag feet on the bottom. It's got a nice firm bottom. It's got a deep pocket here. And this pocket's the one I used for my phone. I dropped my phone right in there, and that's what I used for my phone. Okay. It has another pocket here that you can access. Oops, it was open like this. Okay. So it can also double as a conceal and carry. It has a two-way zipper at the top. It has handle straps here inside, or strap tabs inside. So if you don't want to use the shoulder strap and you just want to use the handles, you can't see the strap on the outside. Okay. It's got some fun rivets. It's got a two-way zipper. It's got some inside pockets. It's just a really cool bag. But every time I make something, I kind of figure out different ways of doing things. So I'm going to give you some hints that are not in the pattern. Okay. So, and I'm going to send out the link for this class, so you can have this afterwards to use anytime. So what I want to talk about tonight is specifically sewing on vinyl. Now we don't have the chat up, so Debbie can't see it. So Fran, if there's a question, would you let us know?
Yeah, I will.
Okay.
And Vicki, you're asking if you can make Pam larger. No, the problem is with her internet tonight. See, it keeps switching back and forth. So it is what it is.
But isn't a smaller Pam better than no Pam at all?
Yeah, but now it's a big blurry Pam.
Well, that's probably because you had too much to drink, Fran. Kidding. Just kidding. All right. So I would just want to do a little bit of troubleshooting. Actually, let me see. Let me get the chat back on, because I want to be able to see what you guys are saying. Where's the chat right there, Debbie? Let's click on the chat. Okay. So do any of you have any specific issues with sewing with vinyl or fake leather, or what they call vegan leather? We used to call it Naga hide, then it was called pleather. Are there any issues that any of you have come up with that you want me to address that maybe is not on my list? Okay, we'll start with that. Okay, and if anything comes up, let me know.
Pressing.
Okay.
Someone wants to know about pressing.
That's good, Sue Ellen. I like that one. What else? Anyone else so far? Oh, no problems that fake leather except for pressing. Okay. Secrets with that. So let's talk a little bit about pressing. Debbie, can you come over to this camera? No, Sheila, it is not hard to birth the bag, not the way that we do it. So thank you. Those are good questions. Okay, so for one thing, using the right needle is really important. Okay, so I'm going to zoom in here. This is what I use for leather and or vinyl. It's actually their no stick needle that Schmetz makes. It's the black needle. Okay, and the size is 130. So it's a nice big heavy needle. And I know that's not real clear. I don't know if I can get it any clearer or not. No, I think that's my internet. But this is the needle, the Schmetz vinyl needle that I really like. That's what I use. Okay, so you want to look for that. Okay. I'm going to talk a little bit about pressing. So I'm going to actually make a seam out of these two pieces, and we're going to do some pressing, and I'm going to show you some of my tricks. Okay, so let's go back to the machine. And I'm going to just sew a seam here. And my needle came unthreaded.
Can you repeat the kind of needle again?
The kind of needle is the vinyl needle or the non-stick needles from Schmetz. The ones that say vinyl are large, they're a bigger, thicker needle. So those will go through heavier fabric, but they also make the lighter ones too, okay? And I've got a Teflon foot on here. Okay, I said with a Teflon foot, the machine came with one too, it came with a larger one. Let me see if I've got it in my tray here. Looks like this, okay? You can use that too. A lot of times, I'm sewing close to the edge and this you can also use as a zipper foot, but there is a zipper foot too that's similar to this, that's skinny. So I'm using a heavy upholstery weight thread, okay? So I'm going to sew a seam here. Okay, let's got something funky's going on with my thread. Must have not had the whole thing through when we threaded it.
The same thread in the bobbin.
I don't know. I think it's I think the bobbin just says regular thread, but usually I would do the same thread in the bobbin, yes. For tonight, for demo purposes, I just think I have regular thread in here.
Are you using a regular machine or you're semi-industrial?
I'm using the TL 18, the semi-industrial. Okay, was that any question somebody else or you asking?
That was me asking so everybody would know.
So this is my seam that I want to press open. Okay, so let's go back to the iron. If you have, oops. If you have a Teflon shoe on your iron, I iron right on here, right on the vinyl. If you do not, you might want to use like a Teflon or a synthetic or like a no stick pressing sheet like this. And you always want to test first. Okay, you also want to test first. Okay. Now, pressing alone is not going to give you a nice flat seam. After you press, it's still going to puff up a little bit. Okay. A little thick right here. I'm just going to trim that off.
Pat wants to know if you can, embroider on it.
You can embroider on this, yes. You just need to make sure you use a good stabilizer. Even just putting my iron directly on here, it does not bother it because I have the Teflon shoe, okay, with my Lower Star. So what I do is there's a couple things you can do to get a nice flat seam, okay? So one of them, and it depends on your fabric, when this may work or it may not work. Sometimes the basting tape does not work. So sometimes I just take the basting tape and do this, that. Okay, that's one way. The other way is to use like a fusible, like this is a fusible seam tape by Emma Seabrook. And sometimes I'll just use that right over the top.
What setting for the iron?
Well, I have a Lower Star, so there's no setting on here.
Oh.
And every iron's different. This iron has a computer chip on it, so it's automatic. I got a little wrinkle there, but I've been using like this, and that keeps my seam nice and flat. Okay, so this works really well too. Okay,
Do regular sewing machines work for this project?
regular sewing machines will work to an extent. Again, you have to test it. Some machines, I mean, if it's just a basic, machine that you bought at a box store, probably not. But if you bought it at a dealership, it probably will. Or if it's an older machine, it probably will. Okay. Now for this bag, there's a bottom seam and side seams. Okay. We cut out the box corners, and when we did that, I'll just cut out some box corners here to show you. Okay. Just to simulate what we're doing here. I'll just do a little box corner here. pen here. I'm just gonna do, I'll do just a small box corner. Cut that out. So if this is actually the bottom of a bag and this is the sides, you would want to press the bottom first. Okay, then, I mean, and sew the bottom and press it. Then you can sew the sides. Let's go back to the machine. And back to the table. Then you can take the sides and you can press those down like this, kind of hold the bag down and press it down like this. Or you can get a ham in there to press it, okay? And it's much easier to press the sides. So the bottom seam first and then do the side seams. Okay, so that's just a little thing in the order that I found out worked a lot easier. Okay, does that answer your questions? Folks, does that help you?
Sheila wants to know if it's easier to cut with scissors versus a rotary cutter.
Well, that's a really good question. Let me see. Do I have a cutting mat in here? I do. Let me grab my cutting mat. I don't have a small one here. I just got this big one, but let me just move this aside because that is something that I do want to address. So here is my vinyl. Here's my ruler. Okay. Yeah. So when you cut like this on this side, sometimes you'll get like the vinyl will kind of drag. Here, got a nick in here. I find it easier to cut the vinyl from the wrong side. So Sheila, what I do is if I'm going to cut it with the rotary cutter, I always cut it from the wrong side because I get a much better cut from the wrong side than I do from the right side. Okay. That was a good question. All right. Any other questions so far? When I'm putting bag feet on, and I'll use this as an example. So this, I'm not going to put bag feet on this bag, but I brought this down to show you because it doesn't have bag feet on it. One of the things that I find is easier for marking the bag feet is to use my 7-corner ruler. And usually, depending on the size of the bag, I usually go in an inch from each corner. So if you go in an inch on each side, I can make I make like a little L, and that point is where I want to make my hole. Go in. That point is where I want to make my hole to do my bag. So pretend that this is a bag sandwich with 2 layers of flexing film with plastic canvas in the middle. I'm going to mark for the corner, pretend that this is the actual fabric, but it's not. So there would be a layer of fabric, this layer of fabric, and this would be inside the bag like this. This would be inside the bag. Okay. Yeah.
Secret wants to know what the name of that fusible tape was.
Oh, that's Emma Seabrook's just seam tape. It's Secret, if you email me, I'll let you know the exact name, but it's the woven sheer fusible seam tape, and this was 1.25 inches wide. Okay, but you could use even lightweight interfacing and cut your own tape, you know, if you wanted to. And Emma Seabrook's website is like SoKeezy.com. If you just Google Emma Seabrook, you should be able to find it. She's pretty easy to find. Okay, so I'm going to poke through here at the corners here. And I usually just do it with really pointed scissors. You could use an awl. And I'm going to put the bag feet in. The bag foot goes in like that. And then when you look at the back, there's one side of the prong that's a little bit longer than the other. So when you put it in, note which direction you're doing that, which side that long side of that prong is. And then I'm going to use the little backing plate right there. And I'm going to take the long side and I'm just going to fold it down. And I'm going to do it like this. And the reason why I'm doing this like this instead of doing it in the back inside a bag. It's hard to see it when I'm inside the bag. Okay, so now I've got this, and this is kind of rough and kind of sharp. Okay, and I find that, I'm afraid that my bag lining at some point might wear through it. So what I've started doing is just putting a little piece of tape inside the bag, like duct tape. Like that. Okay, and that way it's inside the bag. You're not going to see it. What? Oh, Debbie's shaking her head. She says, I'm a genius. Well, I don't know if I'm a genius. I just make a lot of mistakes. So I find that's really, really good for doing bag feet. Okay. Is anyone else doing that? I just, that came up. So here's another thing. Sometimes when you're sewing a seam, let me just take this back to the machine here. Even with a Teflon foot, sometimes you get a little bit of drag, right? Especially with this stuff, is very stretchy, okay? You get a little bit of drag. So what I take a little bit of Sewer's Aid. And this foot's got a hole in the middle. So I just put a drop right in the middle of my foot so it goes down like right in front of my needle, okay? And then I just sew. Sometimes, and if you don't have a Teflon foot, then this is a must. Sewer's Aid, okay? And when you do that, Sewer's Aid kind of travels along with your foot and kind of lubricates your stitching line. Okay, so you get a nice stitch. Okay, so that's a good tip if you are finding you get a little bit of drag when you're sewing on vinyl. This especially happens to me when like I'm sewing a strap, something long, that I don't like, or the handles. Okay, all right, so that's one thing. Sewing thick layers. Well, sewing thick layers is definitely a challenge, and this machine has something called a micro lift. So if you look here, there's a little screw thing here, and see, can you just see what happened when I just twisted that? See the foot kind of lift up a little bit? That lifts the foot up a little bit so that I can get thick stuff here. So this is a leather strap or leather belt that was on a leather jacket. And I just use this because it's really, really thick. And I'm going to fold it in half. Okay. So if I want to sew across this end, it's really hard to get in there. I find sometimes it's easier to start in the middle. Okay. Start in the middle. And that way you're anchoring it from like going anywhere. Okay. Then I sew to the end. And because of that micro lift, it's going to go right to the end. Look how great that is. I mean, honestly, it's sewing like beautifully. And then I'm going to go across the other end. And then back it up. And at these ends, because it's like 4 layers here, I'm actually sewing through 8 layers of leather, and it's just sewing beautifully. Okay.
Seems people are having troubles hearing you. I have problems understanding Pam's audio.
Again, folks, this all has to do with the fact that our internet is not working very well tonight. Okay. That's why you can't hear me if I sound garbled. That's why. Did you type that in, Debbie? Or Fran?
Yeah, I'm not having any trouble with the audio. It's just the video that's a little funky.
Would you let them know though? Because if they can't hear me, they probably can't hear you either. Would you let them know that I'm still, it's the internet issue, not, yeah, okay.
Pam, are you still selling the TL18s?
Yes, I have one in a box right here, ready to sell.
Well, anyone who buys this pattern should think about it.
Okay, so the next thing, Deb, I guess we need to get focused in here again.
Yep.
There we go. The next thing I want to show you is how to do like these little tabs on the zippers. Okay. And really, this picture is really, let me see if this camera comes in a little better, Deb. Come over here to this camera. Back to the machine.
Yeah.
Just to do like a little leather tab like that, okay? That one is actually real leather. You can make them out of imitation leather too. So I'm going to I'm just gonna I was gonna cut this. I'm just gonna I just need to, yeah. I'm gonna, let me see here. So I usually do these tabs, let me see that. I usually do these tabs at a 1/2 inch. So, and I usually cut them with the rotary cutter, but I'm just gonna do this with scissors right now so you can see it. And I see this on a lot of ready to you know, ready-made bags when I always like when I'm in the in the different stores like TJ Maxx and those places or wherever I'm shopping at Kohl's, I always go and look at all the bags and I just see how things are made. So you see a lot of bags that have these tabs on. So I cut a 1/2 inch tab.
Do you have a favorite brand of pleather that you use?
I don't really have a favorite brand now. I just purchase stuff. A lot of times when I'm in a store, teaching, if they have some in stock, I might buy some from them. This stuff that I'm using right here, I got online. I ordered it online, so it's just you know, try a few different things and see if there's something you like. You know, a lot of times you need to feel it. This stuff has a really nice feel to it, but what I don't like about it is it's got that yellow edge. And I'm going to talk about that in a minute too. So I'm going to put a little bit of double stick tape here. So we probably in the future are going to start doing webinars at some point on Monday nights instead of Tuesday nights. That way Kaylee, my partner, can join us. She is in the Seattle area and she has a real job right now because she needs to, you know, have insurance. So, but Monday she has off. And so that being said, she's probably going to be able to join us on Mondays when we start doing Mondays. So I'm just going to sew across the top here. I'm going to shorten my stitch length. I had my stitch length at about 3.5 and I'm bringing it down to about 2.5. And you can't really see, but that stitch is too far close to the edge. So I'm just going to back this up a little bit. So, and if there's anyone, excuse me, joining us from Western Colorado, I'm going to be teaching in Colorado. Whoops, I think I was too close to that tab there. I'm going to be teaching in Colorado in January. And I'm going to be teaching in Novi in 2 weeks. Which is just outside of Detroit, if you don't know where that is. I will be in Daytona in February. And in Tampa in February.
Where in Colorado?
We're in Colorado, near Montrose, because that's the airport I'm flying into. Can't remember the name of the town. And there's a nice little tap there for us. And I wouldn't do black thread on here. I would do matching thread, but, and sometimes what I'll do is I'll just slightly round the corners.
Somebody says Ridgeway?
Ridgeway, yes, that's it.
Charlene.
Charlene, you're good. Yeah. Ridgeway, thank you. Yes, that's it. So,
Pam,
yes.
in general, when you're stitching seams with the vinyl, what stitch length do you like?
About a 3. That's a really good question. Oh, thank you, Sigrid. Sigrid, are you going to come down and see us? That's not far from you. It's kind of on your side of the country. Yeah, I'll be teaching the sling bag, the fanny pack, which is a really nice bag. Okay. This is everything on my list. So here I'm just what questions do you all have? You've had some really good questions tonight.
Sue Ellen's in Montrose right now.
Sue Ellen's in Montrose right now. Sue Ellen, do you live there? So hopefully I'll be there January 24th and 25th, I think. Yeah. Right after I go skiing in Steamboat Springs. So Debbie, do you want to run down and get the fanny pack back? Debbie's gonna run down and get a bag.
It doesn't matter.
Which one? No, just one of the fanny packs. So I'm gonna just show a bag that I'm gonna be teaching in Detroit. Also, I'm gonna be teaching it in Ridgeway. I'm doing I'm done what I was going to show you folks. So if you want to do just discussions,
Yeah, we have a question from Sheila. She wants to know if you prefer cotton or poly thread.
Polly. I prefer Polly.
Okay.
Yes, I'm gonna switch the cameras. Debbie left. I'm gonna switch the camera back over to me.
And Pat wants to know when this pattern's going to be available.
Isn't it nice? You want to see the bag again? I love this bag. I use it all the time. Fran's getting ready to start testing hers. I am teaching this. Okay, so here's the thing. I am teaching this in January. In San Diego for Sewing Machines Plus. I don't know. Is there anyone here from San Diego area? And Sue Ellen, yes, these tricks do work for cork. Okay. I wanted to show you though. So on here, you see how you see that yellow edge? I use something called edge paint. It's made for leather and vinyl, and I use edge paint on there. See, so you don't see that yellow on there. It makes a difference, doesn't it? So I use that edge paint, and it really does help. Okay. So yeah, I love this bag. I just love it. This now I don't usually tell people this, but I will tell you to associate. This can also double as a concealed carry. Okay. I don't ever want to carry a gun. I don't ever want to be in the point where I feel like I need to because I don't travel alone or anything. But anyway, I love this. I love that this pocket here has this little vinyl trim. See? And this is a nice big zippered pocket. So I keep my cough drops in my bag right here. But yeah, this is going to be a good pattern. This pattern is actually going to be it's going to be over 40 pages. Small spiral bound book. So we're going, and it'll be more expensive than our other patterns, obviously, because it's going to cost us a lot more to produce it. So it'll be, you know how the Caprice organizer that Sheila designed, how it's like a little booklet with, and that one is stapled, but this one's going to be a lot more pages and it's got a lot more pattern pieces. So it's going to be spiral bound. Okay. But because there's a lot of different pattern pieces with this. So, but it's going to be, I think it's going to be an awesome pattern. I really like it. I've got some more too that are coming down the pike that I'm working on, but this one is the one that's been kind of just, when you have a pattern that's this long, this intense, and is Debbie Hatchie on tonight? I think Debbie, when we made this at boot camp, I try to put everything on a scale of 1 to 5, and on 1 to 5, they said it was a 14. Did you find it? Where was it? It was on the wall. Okay.
Buried.
So this is the bag that I'm teaching this in in 2 weeks in Novi, but I'm also teaching it in Ridgeway, Colorado. So it should be a really fun class. And I don't know how Nick is going to do the kits yet. The way that we're doing the kits for Novi is everything's cut to size. All the fabric, everything's cut to size. Everything's in there. It's ready to sew. When we did this the last time, the way we taught it is all the stabilizers and all the parts were cut to size, and then you had to cut your own fabric and your own zippers. So I'm not sure how he's decided. Can that be worn in the front? Yeah, it can be worn in front and the back, Sue Ellen, or it can be a right-handed or left-handed. So yeah, it's really very comfortable to wear. I will probably be wearing this when I go to Italy in April. Yes, I'm going to Italy. So there's in the front. If you want it in the back, you can do it in the back too. See? So it's very, very comfortable. It's got a wide strap. So this is called the Franny Pack. The pattern is available. I mean, it's on the website if you want to order the pattern. But this is going to be a class that we're doing. Nick is going to be offering this also as a virtual class. So if you want to do this as a virtual class with Nick, you'll have to sign up with him and purchase the kit through him, or maybe we'll ship it out, but you'll pay him for it. So but we also are going to do this as a virtual class with Nick. So if you don't live in Colorado and you want to make it, it's a really fun bag to make, really fun.
Okay, Rita wants to know Novi, Michigan, when?
No, my Michigan in 2 weeks. It's the Sewing Expo. It's on Suburban Place. Can't remember the name of the road, but it's where the Hyatt is, the big convention center. If you know Novi at all, it's in 2 weeks. And I know that class isn't sold out yet. So it's an all-day class and it is a long all-day class, I will tell you. Not everyone will finish because it is a long class, but it's something everybody really wanted from last year. Now this bag, as I started to say, this class that we're doing in San Diego, she's also offering that, I think, as a virtual class. I'm doing it virtually for them from here. Okay, whereas in Ridgeway, I'm going to actually be there in person. Okay, I'm going to be there in person, and they're going to offer it virtually to people who do not live in the area and can't travel. So, but this one is going to be offered in January, and that's going to be, I believe it's the 9th and the 10th in January. And I think that that will be open to people outside of their outside of the San Diego area to see it virtually too. I'm going to just double check with that. Okay. And then the other thing is, I was just going to say, oh, the 24-hour webinar. A lot of people are asking, are you going to do it? Are you going to do it? You're going to do it. Yes, we are going to do it. But this year we had to move it, and we basically had to move it because of this and because of my trip to Colorado. So we are going, I don't want to do it the 3rd and the 4th because that's too close to the 1st of the year. So we're going to do it January 31st and February 1st. So if you want to put that on your calendar, we're going to start a new subscription program next year. I know we didn't do one this year, and I'm so glad we did because I would have disappointed you. It was just too hard to try to come up with a lot of classes. So I'm going to do a new program next year with 12 classes. We're going to try to average one a month. And, some months there might be 2, other months we'll miss because of my schedule, but we're going to do 12 classes next year. We're going to do a subscription, and that subscription will include the 24-hour webinar this year and then one for the following year. Okay. So you'll get 2 24-hour webinars with that price. And I'll be sending out an email for that in a little bit. Will you? Yeah, this is the class. This Christina class Sigrid is the one I'm teaching in San Diego. Okay. But I'm teaching it virtually from here. It's a 2-day class, and I believe it's January 9th and 10th. It's a Friday and a Thursday and Friday. Okay. So I will double check with them to make sure that they're willing to let other people sign up that don't live in the area. You'd have to pay them for the class, and you'd have to pay them for the kit. The kits that we are providing to the store will have all the parts cut to size, the zippers, the hardware and everything. And then people have to add their own fabric or their own vinyl. You could use cork, you could use vinyl. If you use fabric, you're going to have to adapt a little bit because this is a raw edge. This wouldn't be like, you'd have to cut this a little bigger, maybe to fold it under. But there's not a lot you'd have to do if you were doing fabric. Okay. Am I going to do a boot camp this year? Debbie, I don't know. I don't know. I want to. I'd like to do a couple. I'd like to do a window treatment boot camp. People have been asking, and I want to do another bag boot camp. But right now, it's just I've got to come up with some new samples. But maybe Debbie, you can come and help me teach it because you've been to so many. The edge paint is I get it on Amazon. I don't remember what the brand is. Do you remember?
But if you just Google edge paint.
Yeah, if you just Google edge paint, leather edge paint on online, there's a lot of different places where you can get it. Okay. So yeah. So any other questions? We still have a little bit more time if you would like to if you'd like to ask more questions.
I love your shirt.
Isn't that fun?
Very Halloween-y.
Sugar skulls. I love it. I have this really cute fabric. It's doggy sugar skulls. It's so cute. I don't know what to do with it though. It's just so stinking cute.
Hey, you should give it to Betty and tell her to make you a top.
It's a quilting cotton, so it's nothing I'd want to wear.
Oh.
I was thinking, what was the biggest challenge? And
What was the biggest challenge you had in creating Christine Coach bag?
Biggest challenge. I think the biggest challenge was getting the pattern pieces so that getting them drafted so that they would all work back together, What do you think, Debbie? Oh, I got a cool trick I forgot to show you. This is so cool. This is so cool. So, okay. So, you know, when you're sewing like around the top, so you have to sew around. So, actually, Sheila had asked about birthing the bag. If you made some of my other bags, you know that when I do the lining, okay, I don't sew the bottom of the lining until it's like one of the last things that I do. So it's very easy to birth the bag because this is all the whole lining, the bottom is open. Okay, I haven't sewn the zipper yet. I haven't sewn the box corners. Okay, so it's a lot easier. But sewing this on this machine does not have a free arm. So trying to sew around it was a pain in the you know what. So, you know, you have to sew around to sew the lining. And then I edge stitch along the edge of the facing and then I top stitch it. So I had to do it 3 times, right? So I had my boyfriend, my handyman, make me this. So this, it's got feet on the bottom. So my machine, the feet of my machine sit here. The bed of my machine sits here. And this raises my machine off the table this much. It makes it a big free arm. It wouldn't work for sleeves, okay? But it works great for bags.
Can you stick it on your machine and we'll show them?
I can stick it on my machine, but I don't know if they can see. I'll have to show them on this camera. Just a minute. Let me stick it on my machine.
While you're doing that, another question, what weight of faux leather do you recommend? Do you prefer the cloth back or something else?
This does have a cloth back, so I do like that. I'm gonna start working more with leather too, though, so that okay, so I just put this. See how this lifts this up?
Sorry.
That's all right. See how that lifts that up? So now, Debbie, you're gonna have to come over here. This is a 2-person job here because I just want you to hold the camera just like this. I want to just show the bag. So now I can just sew the bit.
No,
Hold it
what
up.
am I
so-
doing?
You just tip it up so they can see.
Okay.
See, because of this new free arm, I can just sew right around the bag. Okay, isn't that cool?
I
So-
love that.
And I think he charged me. Any other questions?
Somebody wants to know if this is gonna be recorded. She started late.
This is recorded. We're gonna render it. And I'm gonna try to get it to you before the end of the week. I'm gonna send you an email with this link and the link from the last one, and I'm gonna put them up on YouTube for free. So, and I was okay. Yes, Debbie, I was okay in Florida. The house was untouched. I lost a little piece of crappy lattice work that I didn't like anyway. Something some old lady put up.
Thank you, Milton.
Thank you, Nelson, yes. So, yeah, no, the house was untouched. It was good. Barbara's house was untouched. Everyone in my family had no damage to their house. There were a couple neighbors that lost carports. Yes, we are gonna have a 12 days of Christmas sale, and Kaylee is, and we were talking yesterday, Kaylee is working on it. She's going over some of the stuff that we've offered in the past, and she's putting that together and with a little bit of help from me, and we're gonna probably launch that right before Thanksgiving, I think. Yeah, and we're gonna do it like we did before. It'll be, the sale will go for 12 days, but we're gonna give you all the items at one time, and then you can go from there. Okay, so we are gonna have a 12 days of Christmas sale. Is there anything in particular you guys are jonesing to buy that maybe you're running low on or you'd like, right? If there's anything you'd like to see, and here, Debbie, write the list down, they say. What would you like to see on the 12 days of Christmas sale? And I'll let Haley know. Would you like to see zippers? Or would you like to see bag hardware? Or would you like to see classes? Would you like to see what else can we do offer to them? Would you like to see the mesh fabric? Bag hardware and classes, Debbie says, okay, okay, we can do that. Grab bags, okay, according to Sandra. Okay, thank you, Sandra. Maybe a webinar. Well, I think I am gonna do the webinar subscription anyway. I don't know if I'm gonna do that in the sales, but Catherine says yes to zippers, patterns, classes, and grab bags, mesh fabric and zippers. Okay, good to know. You're writing all that down, Debbie? Debbie's just getting over bronchitis, so she's got this cough. She's covering her mouth up, trying not to cough here. Good. Kaylee and I will put some stuff together for you guys. I think, you know what, might be fun. We did this last year. Yeah, we'll send an email for the webinar. The thing is, the webinar subscription, I'm not gonna do that through the 12 days of Christmas, because that's something you'll pay directly to me, where the product stuff you'll pay Kaylee for. So, you know, we'll work on that. But Debbie and I are trying to do more classes for next year too. So maybe we'll do 2 sales. We'll do 1 sale for product and 1 sale for classes and subscription. Okay. So, because we are, you know, we're working together, but we're really 2 companies, you know, because she's got all the whole product line. So how did the mic sound tonight? I know the last time I was more echoey when I was over at the table, and then
Mike was perfect.
okay,
Mike was
good.
perfect.
I moved it. In fact, I moved it.
And now that you're done, the video is full screen.
Is it? Okay.
Yes,
Interesting.
yeah.
Okay, well, good to know. All right. Well, if anyone's out, have any questions before we sign off? Okay. Fran, thank you for helping us. And
Sure.
thank you, Debbie.
Fran.
Thank you, Fran. Thank you,
Hey,
Debbie.
Debbie.
And I will, and thank you, everybody, for joining us. How many did we have tonight? I didn't get a count.
I didn't.
You had a max of 61.
Oh, that's not bad. That's
Yeah.
not bad.
Good.
No, I think that's great considering how long it's been and,
I know, you know, out of sight, out of mind. That's okay. We'll start up next year and we'll build those numbers back up, because
Yep.
Debbie and I are ready for it. I've been talking to some guest teachers, and but put that 24-hour webinar. Anyway, take care, everyone. Thank you for joining us. I love you all so much. So thank you. And so I will keep going. I'll try to be a little bit better with oh, you know what? Thank you, Kathy. She said prayers for them both. Would you guys say a prayer for my daughter too? She's having some real issues at work, and it's gonna she needs to resign. She needs to resign, and she's having a hard time with that. So please remember Leah in your prayers, that she has to she needs to resign. You know, she can't be stressed out and be in a job where she's not happy. And you know what? The Lord will provide. If she leaves this job, she'll find something else. I totally believe that. So thank you, everybody. And God bless you. And we'll be here next week, because guess what next week is? This big election. So pray that things go well for our country. And hopefully I'll see you in 2 weeks. I'll be heading out to Novi. But if Debbie and I get our act together, maybe we'll do a Monday night before we head to Novi on the 11th. So we'll have to figure it out. But I'm glad you guys like this. And didn't know what to offer. I wanted to do something over the weekend. And yeah, I was thinking about it. And as I'm working on this bag, I'm thinking, oh, this is the tip I should show them. And this is another one. So hopefully those tips will help you with doing your bags. So take care. Happy sewing, everybody, and good night.